Well, that wasn't very smooth.
Against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
I am sucking tonight.
Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals.
Conversation you want with someone who's 17. You can have any conversation you want with someone who's 17. Hold on, hashtag no cuddles. Lucian, we gotta work up cuddling into our title.
And we're only really here because thus far you've been right.
Thus far, I have been right. Welcome to the American Awakening on the Freedom Stream TV. We're at freedomstream.tv. Thank you for joining, everyone. My name is Patrick Bergy, PFC Bergy, reporting for duty. Everything seems to be running okay on YouTube and Twitch. I did a bit of work earlier. It's been actually quite a long day. That's when I was running right up to the end of the show, right up to the beginning of the show here, with trying to get everything, trying to get everything looking good. Hello, Tony, Trump's next wife. Hey, good evening, everyone. Southern Charms, hello. What I got? Missing parts. Who? Mia and Sarah stopped by today, missing parts. They said thank you. Sarah's in town for just a couple days. That was nice. It was funny because Jesus, if I can get a, no, I think I can do that. Hold on here. I got my, hold on. Oh, if I can do this right now, this has to be camera. What do we got? NDI. I'm going to have to go to one of these, like maybe here. Yeah, this will work. Coin, get rid of that. I got to hit this real quick. There we go. This is, where are we at? This should just fire up. Watch. Look at that. Oh, Jesus. There we go. Can't really, there we go. Hold on. That works. So, my daughter Mia came by the office today. This is fucking destroyed. And, Manatee that currently has my phone. So Mia came by after she's working like Mia's working now. Mia is now working with at like a tour thing. Oh, Jesus, are you freaking kidding me? There we go. Just start clicking buttons, Bergy. You'll get to there. Mia's working at this, like a tour thing where she gives tours and dives and stuff takes people diving and stuff with manatees. And she lost her iPhone, like iPhone 13, overboard. And so that was a picture that she drew on my whiteboard of a manatee that currently has her phone. I've been texting the manatee, but I have not been, just to see if, hey, you know, they're supposed to be very intelligent critters. So I have not gotten a response yet. Apparently, like, her phone's still working. She had enough sense to put it in a highly waterproof thing, but didn't have the wherewithal to put one of those little floaty devices on it. And now it's like deep in the grass, in sea cow grass, up at Crystal River, and that was pretty funny. Literally, she's like freaking out. You know, it's like a 21-year-old woman without a phone. Are you freaking kidding me? She was just a wreck. But no, somewhere there is a manatee with her cell phone. And then, of course, Sarah came by, and that was nice. Sarah's been out of town for a bit, and love my daughters, love to see them. But no, and I gotta get Mia to draw. I gotta get Mia to help me do some of the merchandise, some of the designs, because both my daughters, Mia and Sarah, are both fantastic artists, and Sarah actually knows how to use Photoshop and stuff really good. So we'll get them on board pretty quick. Hi, Katie, Cat, and Sergeant Stan Dunko, aka Lardass. Nice to thank you all for joining me tonight on YouTube. Trying to pick up. I'm actually not so much with the live getting participation, getting some though. But the views and such afterward are starting to add up and helping out. Most of my conversation and chat and such is over at Twitch, but I wanted to get this set up so I could. Wanted to get this set up so I could put this out to a few more channels and such. Got a good show lined up tonight. But again, a lot of the stuff was just working behind the scenes.
That's what we're dealing with on the right.
A lot of this stuff was just working behind the scenes. Okay, so that don't restart that, but let's cancel that. And with that, I wanted to jump into a couple things here. One, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough time to, because a couple more important things actually came up. Like with this, I had to throw this out here. Tory did actually end up making the ballot as with no party or an independent. I'm not sure what she went as. She's not running as a Democrat. She's not running as a Republican. She has absolutely zero chance of winning. She'll probably at best get the kind of numbers that our friend Jonathan Greavy, a.k.a. Dark White or whatever his name is. Jesus, these people. Ryan Dark White. Which has got to almost be a bullshit name, or just his parents watched too much Tom Clancy. Maybe he's a byproduct of Steve Pachenik. So Tory made things. So it's this is from U.S. News and World Report. I felt it was significant. It says a conservative podcaster who has embraced former President Donald Trump's discredited claims that the 2020 election was stolen is now on the November ballot for Ohio Secretary of State. This was put out July 19th, 2022. A conservative podcaster who embraced Donald Trump's claim, Nevada Secretary of State, Terp Sohori Morris, gathered more than the required 5,000 signatures to get on the ballot as an independent. Republican Independent Republican Secretary of State Frank LaRose announced Monday. So I think wasn't she originally going to run as wasn't she originally running as a Republican? And she would have never ran as a Republican, though. I don't know what she was thinking of. But she made it, although she barely, right? She screwed something up administratively. She'll blame LaRose. But, the only thing that's going to happen right here is that the current Secretary of State in Ohio is a guy that apparently she doesn't like, but he's a Republican, right? Tory thinks that the best thing to do here is run as an independent. She's going to be taking votes away from LaRose. She's not going to take any freaking votes away being a Q, being a Trump supporter in Q. She's not taking any of the Democratic votes away. So what she's going to do is she's going to strip this guy LaRose of more than enough votes than the Democrat needs to take the seat as Secretary of State in Ohio, so that in 2024 they'll have a Democrat Secretary of State in Ohio. Thank you very much, Tori. You're doing great. Doing great. These pieces of... Man, unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, but yeah, she made it on there. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. We need more third-party candidates. Two-party crap is for the birds, but they blocked most of them. Agreed. She's not even third party, though. She just collected enough ballots. It's basically no political. You can put whatever you want. There was no coordination, to my understanding, behind it. She used to be a Democrat. That's true. She couldn't run as a Democrat. No way. So, no, I mean, the only thing she's going to serve to do, at best, is to draw enough votes away from the Republican to hand it back over to the Democrat. And, you see that the Democrats are putting money into influencers, even people on the other side. You saw that lady in Georgia the other day that was in the video by James O'Keefe, where she was saying how they want to fund people. They want to find the craziest, most bullshit, no chance whatsoever Republicans to run and spoil the seat. Again, it's dirty politics. It's dirty. Well, okay, let's not even call it politics. It's just dirty. Could you imagine like a football game or something being played where just like the best one that cheats wins? I don't know. I guess that's what people want. I guess they want our country. Americans want just this garbage. That's thinks somehow maybe, I don't know, thinks somehow maybe that they are constitutional. This young man does. So I wanted to go in tonight into a thing that Garrett's this is Garrett, and he's actually going to be, well, he testified Tuesday in front of the January 6th committee. Young man, I met him at the Willard when I was up in D.C. I probably met him, over at the West End or maybe someplace else, but I don't remember meeting him other than at Rudy's over at the Willard. It was probably around maybe the 10th or so of January. Everything was still just absolutely going nuts. We were in the war room, the round room, the war room at the Willard. And he was a really nice, he seemed like a really nice guy. He hates General Jones, apparently. He's got a serious issue with General Jones. And so I was like, cool. And he's like, listen, I got an email from General Jones that General Jones sent to Navarro. And I'll send it over your way. So Garrett sent me this email. Is this it? I think this is it. Garrett sent me this email that he had received. This is from Peter Navarro. September 27th, 2019. 10:30 a.m. to Garrett Ziegler. So that's from Peter Navarro. And Navarro was responding to the email below that was sent to him by Tom Bossert and for General James Jones. So, as he says, Dear Mr. Navarro, I'm most grateful to John Roberts for connecting us to discuss what I'm informed is a mutual passion we share for getting more national focus on the 5G issue in both the public and private sectors of our country. If I understand John fully, we are in the same opinion regarding the strategic importance of this issue, especially where China's long-term aspirations are concerned. In my view, we need a Manhattan Project type of organization to drive our national effort, announced by a public presidential launch, much like John Kennedy's declaration to go to the moon. For the past 2 years, I've been immersed in trying to generate interest, whatever I can, on the urgent need to better organize ourselves. I'm encouraged by the astonishing progress we've made, especially by a small company in Wisconsin which has developed an impenetrable secure technology that makes any G network secure. It also has a built-in feature that prevents reverse engineering. The IC community and DoD know about this technology. It has been tested by red teams over 20 times with no penetrations. I know you are well informed and passionate about this issue. I share that passion. It's essential we prevail in this contest, and that we figure out how to organize ourselves to do so. NATO's 30 countries, for example, need this capability. And certainly not Huawei's product, which is attempting a penetration in Europe and elsewhere. The interoperability of NATO is at stake in this instance. Again, so, really, I'm convinced we can win this and would be happy to meet you if you would like to talk about how we might become better organized and give you more details about technology I mentioned above. I believe to be transformational and unique. I am currently in Seoul, ROK, that's the Republic of Korea, until Saturday, and will be returning home at the end of the week. Tom Bossert is also on this trip, and we've discussed the ramifications of 5G at length. I have placed him at the CC on this message due to his interest on the issue. In case John didn't cover it, this is a short version of my CV. It's curriculum vitae. And I would note, even possibly most interesting on this, let me do this here real quick. If you focus in the very bottom, where it says Garrett Ziegler, as Associate Director, the White House, pre-decisional, deliberative, exempt from FOIA. That's interesting. I think that is actually quite interesting. Because how does Let's Get Him In by Peter Navarro how is that not decisional? This was not pre-decisional, making it exempt from FOIA. So if anything, if you're wondering, I wonder if FOIA. Well, I wonder why my FOIA requests for things I'm sure are in there aren't popping up. It's because they would leave things that were clearly decisions had been rendered, like let's get him in, and they would leave those as pre-decisional, and they would be exempt from FOIA. But what's my issue with this, right? Several issues. One, and we went over these issues. About maybe 6 months ago, I think. But I'd like to. It's always good to kind of rehash this out, because John Roberts is the one who connected this all together. John Roberts is partners colleagues at the White House with Fox News as a senior White House correspondent, along with Jillian Turner. One of the issues I have is that Jillian Turner is the former. Oh, I wonder if I have that in there. No, I didn't bring that in there. Jillian Turner is a former vice president of Jones Group International, right? So all the email addresses that you saw there at WHO, at me, okay, at jonesgroupinternational.com, John Roberts' partner, Jillian Turner, and actually I've got another email that has a Turner in the name from Jones Group, which makes me pretty much think that that person's almost certainly, like Ginny Turner, is almost certainly related to Jillian. So Jillian leaves as VP at Jones Group International to basically run operations to basically control the news coming out of the White House from Fox News, right? And so, but, you know, I guess it would be like give the appearance of impropriety or something, not that it doesn't anyway, by General Jones, by having Jillian Turner ask Navarro. So she goes around, and so Jones goes around Jillian Turner and has John Roberts ask Navarro. Okay, well, in a few minutes, I'm going to play this. In a few minutes, I'm going to play a couple things. I'm going to play this thing from Raw's story. It's a brief article, and the article actually includes a breakdown of an audio file that I'm going to play after that. And this is Garrett Ziegler. This is a gentleman. He just went before. He went in front of the. Let me turn this off here. Garrett went in front of the J6 committee on Tuesday. Apparently, he took the fifth about 100 times. General Flynn takes the fifth. Bannon takes the fifth. Listen, you know, if you truly believe in what you were doing, why take the fifth? Why not sit there and tell them what you did and why you did it and why you're proud of it and why you think it's right? And because if you can't do that right now, then why did you do it then? Is it because the information you see right now makes you a little bit concerned that maybe the things that people were sending to this hardworking, smart young guy kind of trying to make himself at the White House? A little bit of, he does have to work on the white people thing a little bit. Seems a bit concerned about that, probably more than he should. But otherwise, you know, this guy right here, Garrett, is, you know, I mean, is he helping Trump by taking the fifth more than he would hurt Trump if he said what he was really doing? Probably. Is that a good thing? No, in my opinion. He speaks of wanting Trump to win because in doing this, and it was all important and all good because they cheat, because Democrats cheat, and because They're bad and they're deep state. But how is this? I mean, come on. How is, and you know, God bless him for sending this, but let's get him in. That's Peter Navarro. How is let's get him in when he's referring to General Jones, one of the largest retired general, Obama's national security advisor, has one of the largest lobby groups in D.C., right? How is Trump, and these are facts, right? How is Navarro, which was Trump's guy, how is Navarro any better than the deep state that Trump was trying to get rid of? Can somebody tell me if that's okay? Let's get him in. Obama's national security advisor pushing his private for-profit 5G initiative that he's got going on, that he's also part of like a nonprofit that he set up, but he's got his company doing these things. We just saw that the Saudi thing with Biden about 5G when he was in Saudi Arabia, that was brought up, right? Why? Why does America have to use use General Jones's 5G to help save NATO? And that was like September of 2019. Why do we have to pay more at the gas pump to help save Ukraine and NATO? Why? Right? I mean, that makes no sense. It's just that's all these guys know. And they're raking in hundreds and hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars in defense contracts, and public and private sector, both public and private sector contracts. Let's walk him in. Get him right in here. How fast can we get him in here? Hey, Garrett, can you jump in your car and go pick him up? How is this any less deep state than Obama? You're whisking his national security advisor, using the news, oh my God, constitutionally protected mainstream media, Fox News, White House correspondents, a White House correspondent. And then they used him only because it would have looked maybe even a little too sketchy for them to go just have Jillian do it, because she used to be his VP. How is this any less deep state? How is this any less DC swamp? Why would you bust your ass? Why would you lie for Trump? Why would you bust your ass for these people when you know they're no better than the ones that we voted them in to replace? Maybe worse. If that was even possible, but it kind of seems possible. Kind of seems like what happened. I want to play this from Raw's story. It's only a couple minutes long, but we'll play it together. Probably
just a
has
quick word from our sponsor.
Little sponsor thing there.
I've got a prescription for diabetes test.
Probably don't want to run their sponsor thing there.
On to our next test strips. You get 30.
Test strips and shit. 3, 2, 1, go.
Radio.
Witness Garrett Ziegler lashes out at J6 committee in white nationalist grievance rant. After invoking the Fifth Amendment and executive privilege more than 100 times to refuse to answer questions from the January 6th committee on Tuesday, former White House aide Garrett Ziegler opened a live stream to vent his frustrations to his followers in a nearly 30-minute rant laden with white nationalist grievance on Telegram. Ziegler complained that he has less resources to fight the committee than his older cohorts, including his boss, former trade advisor Peter Navarro, who is suing the committee, and former White House strategist Steve Bannon, who is being prosecuted for...
Hey, let me just real quick, I wanted to point out this article was written about by Jordan Green, staff reporter. Garrett does not like, and you'll hear during Garrett's Telegram thing, you will hear him say how much he hates really raw story. He calls it raw sewage. I know few people on this planet have greater distrust for mainstream media than I do. All right? But I got to tell you, this guy, Jordan Green, even though I'm sure we don't agree by maybe much at all politically, probably some, I found him to be completely fair. And, what am I supposed to lie and say that he hasn't been? He hasn't violated anything with me. Didn't want that to sound inappropriate, but you know what I mean. And, and the work that he does is pretty, it's pretty thorough. It's actually quite detailed. And I really like how they have a built-in README thing here, which works great.
Contempt. They can pay their attorneys to go to trial, Ziegler said.
I got to get that added to Freedom Stream. But I'm taking, maybe I'll do that when I get these things. I'm working on them.
I had to be very smart and circumspect. My goal was to avoid a contempt of Congress charge. It's going to be very, very hard for them to pass a contempt of Congress charge on me when I've given them documents, and I flew out to D.C. and sat in front of them. If they have a problem with me, they have a problem with the effing Fifth Amendment. Read. Meet Garrett Ziegler. Citing his decision to invoke the Fifth Amendment to avoid self-incrimination, Ziegler portrayed himself as a victim of left-wing persecution. They're Bolsheviks, so they probably do hate the Fifth Amendment, and most white people in general, he said. This is a Bolshevist, anti-white campaign.
No, I don't see. He wants to say that he's not racist and such, but this has. That's, work on that, my friend. You can't. This isn't about white or black. This is about for-profit, retired damn generals with nothing better to do with their time than make money off of us. So, I just don't, I don't want to, I'm not going to buy into that. I've driven all over the frickin' country in 20 and even a lot of it in 21. And I don't see all of this racism and the hatred. I see it, I see it kind of blown up on social media. More so on some platforms than others, but that represents such a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of our country. In my, I truly believe, right? So I'm just going to disagree with him there, and I don't even think it should be. I don't even think the point should be even brought up. It's kind of, it's not part. It shouldn't be part of the conversation.
They see me as a young Christian who they can basically try to scare. Ziegler reshares white nationalist Nicholas Fuentes content and has called Cambodia a s-hole country on his Telegram channel. Quickly added, I'm the least racist person that many of you have.
Well, Cambodia, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, they're shithole countries, but they're actually absolutely awesome. I don't know if Garrett's been to like Vietnam or Cambodia in the last few years. I was there in 2013, and then again I think in like 2015, just vacation weekend getaways and stuff while I was working in South Korea. But these are beautiful countries. Yeah, they're shitholes. Pasco County's a shithole, so it's like, yeah, shitholes.
Ever met, by the way. I have no bigotry.
But nice shitholes.
I just try to see the world for where it is. Then his rant veered into misogyny when he lamented that no one else in his generation was defying the January 6th committee because the other people in the White House are total Hossin thoughts. He specifically named Cassidy Hutchinson, the former aide to Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, whose bombshell testimony revealed that President Trump wanted to let supporters with guns into the rally at the Ellipse, and Alyssa Farah Griffin, the former White House Director of Strategic Communications and assistant to the president who reportedly showed up to support Hutchinson when she testified. Ziegler reported that Representative Adam Schiff, Democrat California, logged into the interview by teleconference, but ducked out when he realized he wasn't going to learn any new information. It was a boring hour, Ziegler said. It was an awkward hour. I loathe these people. While spurning the committee, Ziegler provided additional detail about his role in facilitating a heated meeting at the White House on December 18, 2020, in which attorney Sidney Powell, retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, and former Overstock.com CEO Patrick Byrne urged President Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act and order the National Guard to seize ballots and rerun the election. What I did is I sent them a URL to a form to fill out, to then they can request to the Secret Service to be admitted onto the property, Ziegler said on Tuesday. That's exactly what I did. I did nothing more. I wasn't even at the White House grounds when that meeting occurred. I had gone home because it was very late at night. I had no idea what they were discussing. I hope that my reason for sending the URL to the form was that somebody would advise the president to make a call to governors to get the National Guard to hand count the paper ballots. I had no idea about the machines. Previously, Ziegler has told fellow election.
Excuse me. So one of the problems that I have, and let me do this, I should have, if I can find this, I want to bring this over if I can, so bear with me for one moment here. Put a little music on. There we go. I want to bring something in here, but I didn't have a chance to. What would that be under? Shadowgate? I just sent it earlier. Facebook. Here we go. Hold on here. Let me put it over here. The person that directly. Hold on 1 second here, folks. There we go. So this is from Shadowgate, and wanted to play this here real quick because these guys were taking what I feel were extra constitutional steps in what basically amounted to a coup d'etat for reasons they say were based on the election was stolen. Well, I have a problem with that in as much as I agree with the election influence. That's what I was in D.C. for, trying to expose. But mine was, what I was exposing was the social media psychological warfare component, taxpayer funded, by this gentleman, by Atlantic Council, by their partnership with Facebook, in which I'm telling you right now, they altered millions and millions of votes. I'm going to discuss that after this. Connected to both of them is President Trump, and he's on the receiving end of it. But yet you never hear this man's name.
General Jones. That's the guy that heads up Clear Force. That's the guy that took ShadowNet and made it what it is. That's the guy that resold, reinvented ShadowNet to create the magic wheel at the DC courts to make sure that they get the most.
Can I point out right now that although Tori calls me everything in the book, everything that she's saying here, she's just like, you know, it's based on everything that I said. And she even, you know, inaccurately just starts adding shit into it sometimes. But no, just freaking scamming my shit.
Compromise juries, you know, put together for anyone that.
See, now I have, so look at there. There's a judge of the court finds that electronic processing data to maintain master jury services related to jury. Yeah, but would someone, and I asked Tori a dozen times, hey, Tori, could you show me the evidence that you found that you used to say that Dynology or ClearForce was using this, was using their stuff to do with the jury? And she wouldn't. She couldn't.
They didn't want.
When General Jones was tapped as the chairman of the board of Atlantic Council to replace John Huntsman, one of the first orders of business that he did with the Atlantic Council was to create a partnership with Facebook, right? That happened a month after Mark Zuckerberg sat in front of Congress.
Yes, I mean, they did not want their information to be sold to Cambridge Analytica by a developer. And that happened, and it happened on our watch. So even though we didn't do it, I think we have a responsibility to be able to prevent that and be able to take action sooner.
So as a month after they do that, Facebook partners with General Jones at the Atlantic Council to restore election integrity worldwide, right? Now, did you notice the date on that? May 17th or August 27th, U.S. That's August 27th, 2018. Helps Facebook battle that. So that's August 27th, May 17th of 2018. Right? So to remember restore that election integrity worldwide, right? So the best out of 7 billion people on the planet, Mark Zuckerberg picks the owner of the ShadowNet.
President Donald Trump and Mike Pence both ran ads on Facebook that included a symbol of an upside down red triangle. Facebook today removed the ads.
Facebook has taken action against what it calls harmful misinformation from President Trump. The company deleted a post by the president that included a false statement.
To restore election integrity worldwide, we all know that he was directly connected to Cambridge Analytica through Cygroup and Wikistrat. So essentially what they did was they partnered with Cambridge Analytica again.
This also explains why Facebook went to Atlantic Council, aka Jones, to fix.
So, okay, I'm not a denier of this election was stolen. I have evidence. I brought them evidence. I was invited to DC to bring them this evidence, and I did, by Patrick Byrne. But just like I can sit here and say that I believe the Democrats and Biden cheated, or at the very least used highly tactical, coordinated, unethical, morally and ethically bankrupt competitive advantage to beat Trump. In this thing you're gonna hear in the thing we're gonna listen to with Garrett, you'll hear how he doesn't believe that he can't believe that Trump lost by that many people. And I'm saying, well, wait a minute. Yes, he did, right? The evidence, the ballot recounts and the vote shows that he won by millions. Yet everybody says that's impossible because of how big the rallies were and all of this. And I say, yes, that's my point. That's my point. He had this massive ground base. He had so much support. And Biden had nothing except they controlled the social media platforms. They labeled the little red triangles and shit as being hate, and labeled his other Trump's other stuff as being fake news. Ooh, that stung. Because literally it was being done by IIA assets, by assets, just like Jillian Turner's an asset within Fox News of Jones Group International. Jones Group International, they're the ones that partnered, General Jones is one that partnered with Facebook while he was chairman of the board of Atlantic Council to restore election integrity worldwide. And then all of that was shut down almost immediately right after the election in November. Boom! You can't like even find shit on it. It was replaced with something else, but all of those, that operation is gone. Show me I'm wrong. I can't find it anywhere. So when people say that, oh, I can't believe the election was stolen. Well, I can't believe they won. I say, yeah, you should be able to believe it because that's exactly what I was warning you about. And Mo, by the way, I have indisputable evidence of it, of someone doing it that this man right here, Garrett, absolutely hates. He knows what I think actually Garrett truly believes what I'm saying is true and factual. Yet he's just completely focused on the election being stolen at the ballot box with absolutely, when all of that evidence has been largely discredited or proven as inaccurate, as being inaccurate by key figures within the Department of Justice and such. You can't just, at some point, you can't just say everybody's crooked, right? So let's keep going on this here for a second. Only 22 seconds left.
Denier David K. Clements that he and Patrick Weaver, another White House aide in the National Security Council, worked together to let Powell, Flynn, and Byrne into the White House. Basically, I had the visitor access, Ziegler said. And he went down and got General Flynn and Sidney Powell. Read, Trump just issued a thinly veiled threat against Wisconsin GOP leader to decertify the election.
So Garrett truly believes that what he's doing by pleading the fifth, and I would just say that Garrett, even Jacob, the shaman, the J6 shaman, he didn't plead the fifth. He accepted responsibility for what he did. And if you say that, oh, well, I was more important than him, or, I think you need to check the narcissism a bit, maybe. I get it. You're young, you're smart, but you're not that smart. There's actually some pretty talented people, some very, very well-trained professionals, like, let's say, for example, Phil Waldron. He is so far more knowledgeable when it comes to psychological warfare, influence operations, tactical coordinated. He has such much more vast networks and resources and support. If he wanted to do something involving you in a coup d'etat, he could do that very easily, Garrett, right? And no matter how smart you think you are, I oftentimes say, listen, I got played, but it was by the best. So I'm kind of okay with that. But I just think that you need to stop and say, maybe we did lose. Maybe we did lose exactly for the exact reason Bergy listed in his key tam in January of 2020. Yes, January 2020. Maybe we lost because everybody ignored the arrest of Millie Weaver. I doubt very much Garrett knew who she was, but his bosses did. These people did. You telling me that Trump wasn't made aware of the arrest of an American journalist on U.S. soil? If he wasn't, that's wrong in its own right. Kind of steers more towards the deep state thing. So what happened is that in 2016, Trump cheated. Or at the very least, all the people around him, and I cannot believe that he didn't know about it. But Stone and all these people around him, I know this because, as a fact witness, because of my work with, because of the connection with Paul Manafort, going back to 2008 with McCain's primary, when Dynology was Dynology was John McCain's IT company during the primary. And, micro-targeted social media and such like that. And then Paul Manafort took over, but it was just like a subprime after the primary, but it was more like a subprime shift according to SEC filings, Federal Election Commission filings, which all verify what I'm saying. So I have really strong evidence and even personal conversations with Jim Jones, his son, the president of Dynology, that I believe tactical social media psychological warfare applications funded by the United States U.S. taxpayers were used by John McCain in 2008 primary as a competitive advantage to influence the 2008 primary. Then it was taken over by Manafort. Now, in 2016, I believe Trump, through their use of Cambridge Analytica, used data and predictive analytics and IIA, which is exactly what I was exposing, to create a morally and ethically bankrupt competitive advantage using the same techniques as I was exposing in Shadowgate, same techniques I have evidence of as having helped to pioneer back in 7, 8, 9, 10. So these people, in 2016, I'm saying that Trump cheated, which really pisses me off with his whining right now about how the election was stolen and like threatening governors and shit 2 years after the election's over. Are you kidding me? I'm about ready to put Trump's Tears coffee mugs on my website. And I voted for Obama. I voted for Obama twice. I voted for Trump twice. Don't give me shit. That doesn't mean that I can't look at something somebody's doing with even greater information, personal knowledge and stuff, and saying, whoa, I've changed my mind on this significantly. Because Trump's now whining, and you know why he lost in 2020 is because Democrats saw what he did. They saw what they did with Cambridge Analytica. They saw what they did with the psychographics, with the use of IIA, social media psychological warfare. And they turned around, they partnered with Facebook. Atlanta Council partnered with Facebook, partnered with Twitter, YouTube, all of these other organizations to combat fake news, to ensure election integrity worldwide. It was so ridiculous, it's beautiful, right? And Republicans had knowledge of this, at least with my key tam in 2020, in January 2020, or I would just argue, why the hell didn't you watch it in Shadowgate, which I just played, which laid it all out. So they did lose. You did lose. You lost because you didn't pay attention. You lost because you cheated before, and the people you cheated figured out how you cheated, and they stopped you from cheating. And by the way, they used it against you to beat you. So now you're running around the freaking planet. Oh my God. Oh my God. Not you, Garrett, but I'm talking about freaking everybody running around with Trump. And I'm sitting here going, really? And all of these people who supported me and followed me post Shadowgate. Wow, I can't believe this guy. He came forward. He sacrificed all this. He came forward to help expose this and warn us. And now these people dog me. They're, oh my God, no. Well, no, it's Millie and Gavin and Tori. These people all signed NDAs with like Giuliani and all the other people that are freaking like either doing the Fifth Amendment or just talking batshit nonsense. But yet all were completely at the highest level involved in this. So let's do this here. It's 7:56. I want to play a couple minutes of Garrett. Well, actually, no. We'll just start Garrett when we come back into it. When we come back from the break. But let me see here. How we doing? I haven't been able to. I've been talking and I haven't really been able to look or follow any of this. Let me look over here at YouTube real quick. LaRose is horrible. Yeah, LaRose is horrible. But you know, are you better? Are you going to be okay when the Democrat takes his position? Because Tory made that happen. I don't know. Maybe you will. Maybe the Democrat will do a better job than LaRose. I don't know. I just don't believe that Tory. I believe Tory's actually doing this as part of a deliverable. It's exactly the stuff that I was exposing. It's exactly what I was trying to show and expose in Shadowgate. Shadowgate 2. So it kind of makes sense. So Julia, there's many reasons to take the Fifth, not nefarious to do so. You know, no, I just, is that a political organization as such? Yes. But I would disagree that there are not a lot of reasons. Now, he does have executive privilege, and he has to be careful with that. He has a responsibility to ensure that that's kept safe. I totally get that. I believe instead of the Fifth, he should have said, he should have answered what he could answer, and if he couldn't answer it, just say it falls under executive privilege, and I'm not going to violate that. Right? Wouldn't that be better? And it still works well with your very correct argument that there are situations where taking the Fifth is probably that's what it was made for, so that we don't incriminate ourselves. But what are we worried about? What are we incriminating ourselves about? So that's I would go there. Let me look at what else here. The guy is Cherry Marine. This guy is a Cherry Marine, Patrick. Yeah, that's actually what I understand from, what was that, that woman, the wife of that colonel. Miss Bergy, you sound like you are threatening and trying to influence a witness. Don't want to get in trouble for that. Are you kidding me? Yeah, she's joking, smiling. Iron Horse says, no, Patrick Solid. He was talking about General Jones. Who else is there to vote for? Well, that, I can't do anything about that, Iron Horse. It doesn't matter if he says either. It does, though. It does, though, Julia. It does to me. It does to me. I think that stuff, and we'll go into that. We'll go into that when we come back out of break. All right, about the arguments that he makes on that. I think that's a great. Listen, this is a conversation, right? Like I said, I actually have a lot of respect for this guy. I think he's very capable. And politicians require a very specific person. I would make a crappy politician, clearly. But our government needs politicians. I just think he's wrong on this, right? He hates Jones. He knows what I'm saying is true. So, if what I'm saying is true, why aren't you considering that with a lot of these things? That's what I'm saying. Hey, I think it's a legitimate argument. Hey, but let's go to intermission time. I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Hey, if you can help out, please visit freedomstream.tv shop. Visit patreon.com/American Awakening. If you can help out through there, that's great. That's a huge thing. Freedomstream.tv. I'm making some big changes on there, kind of migrating some stuff, but we'll still have stuff up on Freedom Stream. Twitch.tv, that's where a lot of people are viewing me at. Like, share, get one of those things going that, anything that you can do to help share this out. Because, listen, I'm on little under 1,800 a month with VA disability. And what little I bring in from this, it's not a lot. And from my books and from my coins, which, I turn around and put everything. Kay Griggs, that's who that was. Thank you, Iron Horse. Which I turn around and put everything that I make profit back into that. Everything in my life goes into this. There's not like I could be doing something with any type of support other than being put into exposing this. It's everything I breathe. It's everything I do. It's probably it's probably clinical on a certain level, but aren't we all? I love you guys. I will see you in 8 minutes and 34 seconds. Actually, let's restart this clock, can we? I just cheated. Enjoy your smoke and your potty. Grow up, Bergy. 80s war song. Nice. Welcome back, everyone. Hope y'all enjoyed your break. Enjoyed the conversation. I was looking for the last couple minutes of the break, just kind of going through the conversations. Cosmic Club. Don't disagree at all. Tony, you're right. Don't disagree with that. But I remain hopeful. I do. I got to worry about the World War III before this engineered civil war, so that's over on Twitch. Over on YouTube, Julia doesn't, I don't think, entirely agree, but one thing she says is that it's my opinion, not factual. I think she was referring to me in that. It doesn't matter if he says either, it's my opinion, not factual. That's where I would make a correction. Or I wouldn't agree with that because, like I showed you, I mean, I had actually engaged with Garrett personally as a fact witness. And I was in D.C. working with these people, Tory, Millie, Gavin, Patrick Byrne, Giuliani. And so the comments that I'm making about my belief, like I personally, and even at the time, my entire feedback was this is a recovery, not a rescue when it came to the 2020 election going back to early November. And and I, like I said, I arrived in D.C. To join the team in around November 15th. So it's fact-based what I'm saying. But what I am curious about with Julia, and I just am honest if she's still online here, if she believes that the use of our data, regardless of who's doing it, to build predictive analytics, is a good thing or a bad thing. It's just like, are you like pro use my data for whatever the hell you want, use my data to influence elections, or do you believe that that's a bad thing? I'm just curious, right? Should be a pretty simple yes/no answer, right? If you believe that it's a bad thing, then what I've been trying to expose since 2015, long before all of this, is that these things are happening. And we need to be involved in the conversation about it. Otherwise, other people are going to make the decisions on what your data is used for. And so, I don't know a lot of people. I haven't ran into a lot of people, which actually in the next, maybe in the next few days or something, I want to pull, just like kind of replay one of the, or some clips from like speaking engagements I was doing in like 2018, I believe. 2018, 2019, well before I met Millie and Gavin. I've been trying to expose these things. It's not opinion that Cambridge Analytica used your data and psychographics to build psychographics that they used to influence elections. That was testified by. Facebook received several, I think, $1 billion in fines. Cambridge Analytica went out of business. Cambridge Analytica, which was ran by Bannon, founded by Bannon and by Alexander Nix. Alexander Nix was the founder of a British intelligence company, Julia. Right? And so basically British intelligence was using data to build predictive models and to target a group that Bannon's employee, what's her name? The girl from Brittany Kaiser. What Brittany Kaiser testified was that they were targeting the quote-unquote neurotics. You haven't happened to seen any like a high percentage of what you would classify as a neurotic within, like, let's say the Tories says groups or Flynn's groups or Lynn Wood's groups. I know these things. I'm a freaking neurotic. I mean, I'm not bashing people for it. It's actually mostly like patriots. It's actually things like that. But they literally use thousands and thousands of data points. They scrape your social media. They scrape your credit history, your medical, everything. Go to clearforce.com. It's boom. Go to About section. You'll see who started it, who owns it, who runs it. Obama's National Security Advisor, Obama's CIA Director, General Hayden. You'll see it's being used to determine who gets a job and loses a job at almost all of the major news and media organizations. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. You can literally go there. And so you have to ask yourself, should Obama's National Security Advisor, should the guy that I just showed at the beginning of this, General James Jones, the guy that this guy hates, Garrett hates General Jones, what he does, what he did, and I don't know why. I really don't know why. That might be interesting. But again, this isn't my opinion. This is facts, factual. I engaged with him. That's why he gave this to me. These emails. Garrett Ziegler. That's not my opinion. These are facts. Do you care? And so the next question is do you care about the facts? Maybe you don't. Right? I don't want to be insultive, but they were targeting the neurotics. So do I personally get attacked with people that I would probably classify as neurotic quite a bit? Yeah, I do. I'm more neurotic than me, I would say. Yeah, I do. I get attacked by freaking psychopaths. They got psychopaths and sociopaths. They get all mixed up with their data. They get all mixed up with their groups. I mean, that's what they're doing. And if you think that's okay, then we can have that conversation. But for sure, it's not my opinion. So we'll leave that up. And actually, what I'm going to do here is play Garrett's. Now this is about 20. Well, it's about 27 minutes long, so we're gonna have to let it play through pretty good. But I'm going to interject throughout. Here we go. Why aren't you I think it goes like 17 seconds into it before it actually.
Now,
There we go.
if you can't hear me, just drop a line in the chat. We have about 400 people now. This is a somewhat good crowd. If you can't hear me, drop a line in the chat. But the bottom line up front is I received this subpoena on April 28th. I am not one for fame fagging, so I didn't throw a tantrum and kick up a lot of dust about it. And I have played out the cost benefit analysis. Obviously the committee is not operating based on its authorizing resolution. If this were the House Oversight Committee, a standing committee of the U.S. Congress that had been around for 60 years, my approach to this would change because there'd be some Republicans on it. Obviously, on paper, Kinzinger and Cheney are Republicans, but the whole experience of the hearings is so one-sided. It doesn't even approach a normal congressional hearing. So that's the first truth.
This is absolutely, indisputably accurate. Of course. It's a congressional hearing. It's by its very nature. Political. But it's also written into its existence as part of the Constitution. So we don't always have to like what the Constitution says, but if we are to be constitutionalists, we need to abide by it, even when it's something we don't like.
Which you guys already know. What I wanted to explain is, to my knowledge, I am one of a half a dozen people. That's being conservative. I think there's only three, maybe Scavino, Meadows, and me, who have under executive privilege and the Fifth Amendment not answered any of their questions. And so what I have done is I
get that, lady
I posted this subpoena, a portion of it, on my Telegram channel. So if you haven't seen it, just literally search subpoena or J6 and it'll come up. A lot of people ask me questions that I've answered probably 100 times because they don't know that there's a magnifying glass at the top right-hand corner of the screen. And so basically it was a pain in the ass to fly out there and sit in the room with him for an hour and say, over 100 times that I am invoking my right to silence under the Fifth Amendment and presidential privilege, otherwise known as executive privilege. Now, I think Peter and other staff members have a stronger case than Bannon because they were employed by the president at the time. However, there's a case to be made that any person that the president is talking to, staff or not, is protected by executive privilege. And unless he himself waives it, which in Bannon's case he has, and he hasn't for Peter, I think that we're in the clear. But remember, there's been so much inaccurate reporting about you. Most of the lamestream press has said.
Did Trump waive it for Garrett? Just out of curiosity. Garrett has a legit case on that. Anybody know the answer to that? I don't know the actual answer to that.
That I had attended the meeting on December 18th and I had escorted General Flynn, Patrick Byrne, and Sidney Powell into the Oval Office. It's not the truth. I've never said that. What I did was I sent them a URL to a form to fill out, to then they can request to the Secret Service to be admitted onto the property. That's exactly what I did. I did nothing more. I wasn't even at the White House grounds when that meeting occurred. I had gone home because it was very late at night. I had no idea what they were discussing. I hoped. My reason for sending the URL to the forum was that somebody would advise the president to make a call to governors to get the National Guard to hand count the paper ballots. I had no idea about the machines. Seizing machines is an interesting idea. I did not read up enough about it at the time, and so that was not what I wanted to occur. I'm not saying that it's not a good course of action. It's not what I was advocating at the time. We just simply needed to hand count.
I just now got Southern Charms notice that there was no sound at like before I started the show. I'm like, oh shit, we're good.
The paper ballots because these bullshit audits that Mark Meadows and everybody else were telling the president that had occurred did not occur. What occurred was a risk limit bullshit audit by Eric Coomer and all of his cronies at Dominion, where they basically take 10% of the ballots and say,
Now, the 10% thing is like it's a legitimate thing that the military uses with everything. Whether it's piss tests, sometimes they'll be 10%, sometimes it'll be 100%. You can't always do 100%, but 10%. I mean, these are legitimate ways to that are used, and they're authorized ways to use within regulations. And again, you don't always have to like those regulations. You can change them, but you got to follow them.
hey, this 10% is good. Well, how do you know that 10% is representative of the entire batch when they themselves are making the fucking system? So there's been so much inaccuracy about me, not only from the left, but from Bannon's former co-host Jack Maxey, who has spread lies about me for over a year now. So I've not gone on offense yet because
He doesn't
I've been,
seem to like Maxey.
beavering away and typing away. The report's now 160,000 words, over 600 pages. Once that drops, I'm going to be doing a hell of a lot more.
I stayed out of the Maxi thing largely. I jumped into it for a bit, but then I looked at it and I'm like, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot going on there with the Maxi thing, and his boyfriend came out the other day with his thing, and Tucker Carlson was in Switzerland, and Bannon's connection to it. Holy Jesus. One nice thing is I don't believe that, well, I'm pretty sure that Garrett's not tied to Bannon, at least not directly.
Offense, you're going to see me a lot more in the press.
That's a good thing.
But this is like taking I've really stepped back. This is what it looks like for me not to play offense, because there's just so many bullshit lies. And knowing how the committee has been to date, there has been no advantage of me playing their game with them. No matter what I would have said, they would have twisted my words, because they're smear merchants and they're not honest people. This was a case of misdemeanor trespassing.
Now, I would argue that I spoke to the J6 people, and I found them to be completely fair. Dustin Stockton spoke with J6, and he found them to be fair. And he had a lot on the line. His words could absolutely be used with the DOJ, his involvement with all of this stuff. Big deal, right? And he feels he kind of got screwed by Trump because, Bannon got a pardon and he didn't. He and his wife didn't, and also some other people. People make legitimate claims about this stuff
with feds and agitators mixed in, and the so-called insurrectionists didn't.
Now you say with feds and agitators mixed in, but I haven't seen indisputable evidence of a significant amount of feds. Now that guy Epps, he was the only thing I absolutely know with a very high level of providence with Ray Epps is that he was an Oath Keeper. So what does that tell you, right? That should matter. That should make a difference. There we go. That should make a difference. I have many connections to the Oath Keepers with all of this that I've had to deal with through Kelly, my attorney. She screwed me, but not before she started literally screwing Stuart Rhodes. So, you know, if you're like a private, just kind of looking at what path to take, I look for honor. I've not seen a lot of honor or integrity along that path. That's for sure.
Didn't even move the velvet guardrails in Statuary Hall. I was at the White House watching this on C-SPAN, and I see these MAGA moms and grandmas not even moving the velvet ropes within Statuary Hall. It is the most pathetic excuse.
Okay, yeah, you know, I saw that. I saw that too. When I went to the premiere in Los Angeles of Capital Punishment, I met the little old the twins, the little old ladies. I met a lot of people that yes, they did no violence, but are you kidding me? Are you going to sit there and deny what happened by some beating the shit out of cops? Right? That's wrong. You shouldn't have been there. Not there. And you certainly, if you've got the barricades and they start going through the barricades, you certainly shouldn't go through the barricades. That's exactly the stuff you bitched about the Democrats doing. And they did push through violently. There was violence. Ashley Babbitt died. There was violence. There was more than just little old ladies, not knocking the rails out of place. There was a lot more than that. There was a tactical unit sent in of Oath Keepers that were like in a tactical formation. Are we going to forget that? Did that not happen? Which, by the way, Tory and Ann Vandersteel said was something Flynn was working on. Well, you know,
for a quote-unquote insurrection that I've ever seen in my fucking life. These people are...
And by the way, how many insurrections have you seen? I've actually seen a few.
Horrible people. So
Not
Mark
in
Harris
America.
from the committee has harassed me. Today, they made me answer in the same answer over 100 times. They loathe my former boss and by extension me so much that
they didn't ask the same question 100 times. He's exaggerating there.
made me say the same thing over 100 times. Apparently, there's a word for when you say the same thing so many times and it starts sounding weird in your ears. It basically loses the sound that it had at the beginning. That's what I was having when I would say the word silence. So, this is, a lot of people are saying there's no sound. Other people say they can hear me. I have no clue what's going on with some of your connections. I have 5 stars right here back in Illinois, back in central Illinois. So I don't know. We're on God's time, by the way. I'm sorry if it's late on the East Coast. We're on God's time, meaning Central Standard Time. It's the time zone that Jesus Christ is in. So it's early
now. Really? I thought God ran on Zulu. That's what they said in the Army.
On the West Coast. The East Coast people are always always weird. And I'm in a weird spot because I'm on an island right now. Okay, everybody else that's getting absolutely.
I agree, Julia. They said, the very specific groups of agitators were very well organized. Again, I don't think that his description of that was fair
lambasted.
Or unbiased.
Bannon and Peter are much older than me. They have
and
a
more
lot
chaos.
more resources. I got 2 little ones. They can pay attorneys to go to trial. I had to be very smart and circumspect. So my goal.
Firefly over on Twitch is like, they had watches?
This video speaks less to the heart and more to the sphincter.
Was to avoid a contempt of Congress charge, because remember, that gains me nothing when Bannon and Peter are already going to trial. All right? So I avoided it's going to be very, very hard for them to pass a contempt charge on me when I've given them documents and I flew out to D.C. and sat in front of them. If they have a problem with me, they have a problem with the fucking Fifth Amendment. And they need to take that up with John Jay and the other American founders. Now, they're Bolsheviks, so they probably do hate the American founders and most white people in general. This is a Bolshevistic anti-white campaign. If you can't see that, your eyes are freaking closed. And so they see me as a young Christian who they can try.
Now, my eyes are not closed. We can have a debate on things, but my eyes aren't closed. I disagree with some things, not all, but my eyes are definitely not closed.
To basically scare, right? And so today was just a lot of saying that I am invoking my right to silence under executive privilege in the Fifth Amendment, and I said that over 100 times.
But he should, again, why say them both? Just, use the one. Or when the one's not necessary, then just answer the question. Answer the question. If this was a Democrat, and all of these things were turned, that White House and the position that that this young man held there was not his. It's all of ours. This isn't me questioning someone working at a private company. This is me questioning someone who worked at a very senior position at the White House, at the head of our, of the executive branch. I hope I got that right. And therefore, there is accountability. Again, there has to be executive privilege, but executive privilege allows you to answer some things that are just kind of outside of executive privilege in a different way than like the Fifth would. Like if you can't claim the Fifth and then, as I understand it, and then answer a bunch of other things and just only not answer or answer with the Fifth only when you're not. I think you can get in trouble for that. I don't know. I'm not an attorney. I think with executive privilege, you can answer things that aren't covered under executive privilege, and I'm sure of that because, like during testimony when they do have, you've always got like an executive privilege attorney sitting there next to you going, yeah, you can answer that, or no, don't answer that, or yeah, you can answer that, and then the guy just turns around and says, I'm sorry, I can't answer that because of executive privilege, or okay, sure, I'll answer that. I would have been fine with that. Because I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. As soon as I start saying that's okay for a Republican, then I'm saying that's okay for the Democrat, the next Democrat that comes through. And that is a bad idea. Just ask the Democrats how good of an idea it was to remove the stuff from the judiciary and that allowed them to put a few Democrats on a few judges on the seats, but then as soon as Republicans came in, which they were warned, Trump came in and put three Supreme Court justices using that rule that they changed and they allowed. Do not allow, in my opinion, I don't agree with Garrett's assessment of he can just sit there without an attorney sitting next to him telling him that it's okay or not okay to answer that based on executive privilege. I just don't agree. I don't agree, like I said, whether it's a Trump person, whether it's a Obama's guy sitting there, you guys would be so pissed off right now, and don't tell me otherwise, if it was Obama in there. And the Fifth Amendment, right? The Fifth Amendment. Listen, if you want to plead the Fifth, okay. But not when you're in the White House. If you want to plead the Fifth or something for personal stuff and such that you've done, but when you're sitting there in that position, right, funded by taxpayers, sitting there in that position, I get it. The Fifth covers everything, but that doesn't mean I'm going to have to sit here and like that. I'm not going to like it with him doing it. I'm not going to like it with the Democrats doing it. And I don't see, if you are okay with that, then okay, we'll agree to disagree on that one. I don't see how people can be. I don't agree with his argument there.
Mark Harris. So I felt I owed you.
Oh shit! Hold on.
Share. I don't know if you guys understand me completely, but you basically get my project by now. Okay, I'm not whatever the left says about me with regard to. I'm the least racist person that many of you have ever met. By the way, I have no bigotry. I just try to see the world for where it is. I say the truth. And I notice pattern recognition. So you guys have been with me for almost 18 months now. So I think you're entitled, and your freaking vote was stolen, by the way. And so when I...
And another issue that I have, right? If you're going to... If you're going to plead the Fifth in front of the January 6th committee so as not to incriminate yourself under oath, don't sit out in front of public and talk about stuff and say stuff that you're not under oath with. Can we say that? Can we agree with that? Why is it okay for you? Because we can't verify this. You're not under oath here. In fact, I think you'll probably find some things that came into conflict with what he said in public and what they present evidence of with the J6 committee. I don't know. That is my opinion. That is my speculation. But it's based on a lot of personal knowledge about what's going on here. So that's one area that I would make a point of. And it's not a law. It's not a court of law, but it is congressional. It is constitutionally. And, we'll see. Bannon could go to jail for a year for not doing that. In fact, I almost certainly he's going to. This isn't looking good for Bannon. So it's not a court, but it has consequences.
When I see the hatred from MSNBC, Esquire put out a hit piece on me today. Raw Story, known as Raw Sewage, in my household, they put out another hit piece.
Aw, and I like
so I'm
Jordan.
just getting hated on, and I have no sort of army to hit back at them, right? Because I'm the young guy in the room, and they're not even going after any other young people.
What?
The other young people in the White House.
Now, would you really go after old people? That's not nice. But no, maybe it's not because they're old, but maybe it's because they have experience and they realize that it's a bad idea.
Are total hoes and thoughts like Cassidy Hutchinson and this Alyssa Farah Hobag, who are just...
Hey, Southern, enjoy your meeting. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Terrible. I mean, they have no clue what they're saying. The idea that I knew that there was going to be violence on January 6th, hell, the only violence that I thought would occur was that Vice President Pence was going to follow the Constitution. By the way, just for all of you guys who like reading legal text, most people don't. Most people aren't gluttons for punishment. But if you do like legal text, the Constitution of the United States outweighs the Electoral Count Act. Okay, so if you go back and read a piece, and I'll post it on my channel right here. I got home late, took a shower, got my glasses on, so I'm not going to do a video tonight. But I'm going to post it. I'm going to post an article by John Eastman, who's getting absolutely railroaded in the U.S. District Court for New Mexico.
Wait a minute. John Eastman, in all fairness, sounded to me, batshit crazy. Like Brittany Kaiser's Neurotics, this guy was like mayor of Neurotic Town, right? So we're going to have to agree to disagree on that, Mr. Garrett.
From him. He wrote a piece called Setting the Pence Ask Straight, basically saying, setting the record straight on the POTUS ask. You guys have got to read this. This came out, what's the date on this puppy? January 18, 2021. So Biden hadn't even had his illegitimate inauguration yet. And Eastman put this out. So what the whole thing was, I still don't believe that Mike Pence is I still don't believe the story that Mike Pence can quote unquote do whatever he wants on January 6th. That's not what we were trying to do. The Pence doesn't have the unilateral authority to just reject electors. That's not what we were even asking, and that's why the lying press and all of our conservatard friends.
And Julia, I could be wrong. I don't. I've never met these. That was just point that out. That was just my opinion right there with Eastman, based on the interviews and stuff that I've watched with him. But I'm also kind of salty because I've seen a lot of damn grifters out there, Julia. So, point that out. Julia said that she felt bad how the media and others have treated Mr. Eastman. I get that. But maybe, there are a lot of people, like, our friend John Here to Help, which I believe I believe he ended up getting, what, anybody can confirm this, that he got, 6%? He got 6% of the Republican support, and he's going to say, I would have won if it wasn't for being arrested like a couple days before the primary. But to be honest, there's nothing to suggest that. And he is, they're just everything about him. Since he came on my radar in like November, December of 2020, in D.C., working, Tory and him were pushing this bullshit to Linwood. And I say they were pushing this bullshit because I'm sitting there with Tory, talking to her while listening to her. They knew this. This is a freaking game to her, right? And so, and then as soon as I mentioned that I was going to go and meet and try to drop this evidence off to Linwood, I was attacked by the same people that the evidence would have exposed, and by the same, like here, and by the same people that evidence now shows is highly suspect. I mean, the guy's he was the manager, the night manager of an adult bookstore, and he has an extensive criminal record prior to that. And again, at some point, you got to say, maybe it isn't all just a bunch of corrupt deep state people. Maybe this guy was just like a grifter or a bad person that got busted, or even a good person that got caught up into drugs and got busted and ended up doing like a dime or so. I know my friend Jay, good friend of mine, my former roommate, he did a dime for getting hooked on for drugs, and he had ended up getting hooked on like Oxycontin and stuff, and then he ended up getting in trouble doctor shopping, but he went into jail. He did 10 years, came out, and and got a job as a dishwasher at a Greek restaurant. He's been at that restaurant now over a decade, right? And he's a good person. He got away from it. He doesn't do shit like that anymore. He probably drinks way too much, that motherfucker. And he and I have issues about that, and I let him know it. You know, but then he gives me shit about smoking weed, so I'm like, okay. But John here to help. He didn't just do his time. He didn't just come out and try to put his life back together. It's been one Steve Pachenik, spy mystery after another. And at some point, I just have to say, no, I need more evidence. I can't just, no, Tori doesn't have a time machine. No, Tori is not a lizard. Maybe a gray. No, she's not. Right? At some point, you just got to stop and say, show me some evidence, because this is just too much, and too much is at stake. This is national security that's at stake. Don't know the John person, but question motives, people and media attacking him. I will reserve judgment when all the facts are out. Yeah, well, a lot of facts out on John here to help. That's Jonathan McGreevy. He's directly tied into all of this stuff. He was the one that was pushing the Trump and the John Roberts pedophile stuff to Lynn Wood back in November, December of 2020. He was the one that pushed the Isaac Cappy's Dead Man Switch stuff to Lynn Wood. This guy John here to help. And I know because of my personal experience with Tori, who was at the time working with him, that these guys are just a bunch of damn grifters. They're pushing a bullshit grift. And I'm sticking to that, and I'm providing as much evidence as I possibly can, which is a lot, and it's significant, and it shouldn't be ignored. But she just got on the ballot for Secretary of State. Running, no party. She's just going to hand the currently Republican-held seat to the Democrat in 22, so that a Democrat's going to be overseeing the election in 2024. I mean, and maybe that's a better thing. Maybe that's a good thing, right? I don't know. She seems to hate that LaRose guy. Well, probably not going to have to worry about her or him. She ain't going to win. She's not going to win. Are you freaking kidding me? She's batshit crazy. Do you literally think there's a snowball's chance in hell Tori Marrs is going to win Secretary of State? She just got files charges. She's got conviction in North Dakota for stolen valor. Stealing money from a veterans nonprofit organization. Oh no! I've got a time machine. They're afraid of me. No, they're just setting me up, and it's deep state. No, she's bullshit. There's no way on earth that this woman is going to win, but there is every way on earth that she's going to siphon a massive amount of, enough, maybe 5-6%. Of the Republican vote away from LaRose, which is going to hand the Democrat. It's going to hand it to the Democrat, and that's fine. And people say like, "Oh, why do you say this, Bergy?" I'm a registered Republican, right? And it's not my job to clean house of the Democrat Party, right? It's my job to have political differences with them, to debate and argue with them about political differences. My job is to clean my house, right? And so as a Republican, if I see a major problem within the party, I have a responsibility to clean that, to expose it, to bring it out, find out whether it's right, wrong. Let's find out, right? Let's not shy away from it. Let's not attack someone within their own party who's pointing out something that has a lot of significant relevance to it, right? It's my responsibility. It's my job as a Republican. It's your job as a Republican to clean. We should be more focused right now. There is more garbage, more fraud, waste, and abuse within the Republican Party than I've ever seen in my lifetime. I'm 56 years old, right? Voted for 10 presidents now. Please, it's not just a small thing, right? So we're coming up to the end of the show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Let me do this here really quick. Here we go. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I talked to my daughters about helping me out with the merchandise, with getting some shirts, mugs, and such that we can use. And those help out. Not only do they help out with helping about paying the bills at the studio here. This isn't my grandmother or mother's basement. So I do, but it is as cheap as you can get, right? It is as frugal as you can get, like $450 a month. It's going to probably go up within the next maybe 6 months tops. So I got to figure something out. We got about 6 months to figure something out. And even right now, still, the place doesn't have a working sewer. So it's got issues. But all these things are happening right now. If you disagree with me, that's fine. A lot of the things, almost everything that I've been trying to warn people about, been attacked about, have been proven accurate and true, right? So, I can't do it on my own. I can't do it by myself. So I've made some things to help tell the story. I published 3 books. Victim of the Swamp, How the Deep State Destroyed the 40-Year-Old Private, Operation Shadowgate, the first one, which is Hacking to Mankind's Shadow, and Operation Shadowgate, The American Awakening, which I just put online. 405 pages. Really nice quality, high resolution images in the last one, and in the second one for sure. The second one is full color. But it tells the story that I've been trying to warn people about for a very long time, and now it is part of our lives, my friends. These the very fate of our democratic republic is being determined right now, and that is not me being it's not hyperbole, it's not me it's not an exaggeration. It really isn't. We have to decide. We need to clean up our own party. Like I said, I don't regret my vote for Trump. I had almost immediate buyer's remorse for my vote for Obama the first time. Second time, I voted for him, but I had no choice. I couldn't vote for freaking the other guy, the Mormon guy, and he's gonna end up taxing my coffee, making me wear that funny underwear. So that wasn't gonna happen. So I plugged my nose. My vote for Trump initially was a middle finger to Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. My vote for Trump the second time was because I wasn't entirely sure. I'd spent years trying to figure this out, the last couple of years trying to figure out, because I didn't want to just pass judgment. And I understand now there's no way. There's no way that he didn't know or couldn't know what was going on. So I can't support that, right? And I get it. It doesn't make me the most popular with some of y'all, but I think a lot of people are actually, at least are looking at this going, hey, wait a minute, what the F? Something's going on. Something is going on. I don't, you saw that you saw the emails with Garrett. That's the DC swamp. And that was in September of 2019? Almost immediately after in office and throughout basically his We can just assume that Navarro was given the D.C. swamp as much, if not more, access to the White House as the Democrats ever had. So what exactly, could someone tell me exactly what the argument is about with Trump? I don't get it, right? Maybe it's because I'm too stupid, but maybe it's because I'm just smart enough. Thank you very much, everyone. Good night. I will see you on Friday. And God bless you all. Thank you very much. Looking forward to the January 6th hearing tomorrow. And I'll probably be reviewing that. I will certainly be reviewing that on Friday. Good night, everyone, and God bless.